Pitchforks and torches came out as Syracuse scored an all-time record low 44 points in the Dome in front of a season-high 27,803 fans. But then the Orange pulled off a nice Quadrant 1 win, outlasting Louisville on the road just 2 days later. All of that, and we turn to Joe for his next game preview as Wake Forest comes to the Dome Sunday, February 11th at 1 o'clock. Let's go.
Make some noise, Orange fans. It's time for the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast.
What's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to episode 56 of the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. If you could please subscribe to whatever platform you listen on, that would really help us out and will be in your library as soon as an episode is published. We pride ourselves on giving you the most up-to-date, most efficient, well-orchestrated Syracuse sports podcast that we can. And the gap between the Virginia game and the Louisville game with the Super Bowl right in the middle, that didn't work out. So we're going to hit up Virginia real quick. Attendance at the Dome for the Virginia game, 27,803. That is that's a season high in Division I for attendance. A couple bullet points on the box score. Syracuse shot 33%. Our two main guys, Howard and Battle, combined for a total of 29%. Chukwu and Moyer never even bothered to shoot the ball. 44 points equaled out to about 1.1 point per minute. And Battle led all scorers with 15. The good, only 7 turnovers. Unfortunately, we couldn't really capitalize on anything. So that's pretty much it for the bullet points. The 44 points are the fewest Orange has scored since 69-39 loss at Georgetown on March 9th. That game has been mentioned a couple times on this program. Virginia leads all-time series with Syracuse at 6-5. And then we mentioned the crowd, largest on-campus crowd of the season for Division I. Syracuse floundered a little bit. The fans are really frustrated, but you're playing a Cavaliers defense that ranks pretty much number one. They rank first nationally in scoring defense, 52.7 points per game, third in field goal percentage at 37.6, and fifth in three-point field goal percentage defense at 29.7. So just they knew exactly what to do. They're a well-coached team. They're definitely a Final Four team. You know, it was a disappointing game to watch in front of that many fans, and I felt really bad for the fans and that showed up, even though it was a Saturday. It was just unfortunate, but it is what it is. We move on. Joe, give me your first and final thoughts for the UVA game.
Just ugly. I mean, again, we talked about it. We know the inefficiencies that we have on offense, and to shoot those percentages. And I mean, it wasn't even like, the rebounding, they had us in the boards, but I mean, they're just a good team. They're the number 2 team. So all that is really is just an opportunity to get a good win or lose, whether you're home or away.
You just wanted to see
whether you're home or away. If you lose, it's not a bad game. All it is it's an opportunity. And we went up. Our strength of schedule jumped like 10 spots after that, and it's only going to help that in our RPI. So all it is an opportunity to get a good win, but it's not a bad loss.
Exactly.
No matter where you play. So
right, our RPI went up 1 point after that game. It didn't hurt us all that much. All right. Let's put that one behind us. I think the pitchforks and torches came out way too early. If that was say, Wake Forest, coming in like they're going to on Sunday, we would have we'd have something different to say about it. But it's UVA. They're a Final Four team unless they get
losing to a team that's 21-1, number 2 in the nation.
Yeah, with an RPI of 1.
Right. Like, that's not that's not going to kill your season. That's not going to be the reason why you don't make the tournament. So
No, not at all. Syracuse headed to Louisville 2 days after. Attendance there, 16,983, pretty good. For
the Yum Yum Center.
For the KFC Yum Center, a horrible name for a venue in my opinion. A really, I mean, seriously. Peel the skin off the chicken and it's nothing but bone, poor things. Louisville and Syracuse, they both shot really close. Syracuse shot 47% from the field, 46 from three-point land, 75.8 from the free throw line. And O'Shea Brissett had a great game. He went 4 for 9, 3 for 5 from behind the arc, and he made 5 out of 7 free throws of 16 points. Howard and Battle combined for 47 points, and Howard with only 1 turnover. Just excellent, scoring 78 points on the road and only turning the ball over as a team 8 times. Holding Louisville to, who was a pretty good three-point shooting team, to 23.8% from behind the arc. And they also shot about 46% from the field. So really good. Some quick facts on that game. It marked just the 4th time this season the Orange had shot better than 50%. They never trailed in the final 28-58 of that game. And Monday night was just the 2nd time in the past 8 games with more than 28 points in the first half for Syracuse. They got 39 in the first half. It was awesome. It was. Well, I mean, we should have probably went into the locker room up by 11 maybe, but there was some unfortunate events with foul trouble, and we'll get into that. For 2 teams that are ranked pretty high, I guess. Syracuse didn't collect 1 block. Louisville just had 1. They ranked 2nd and 6th nationally. So not a lot of block shots going on. Louisville owns the advantage in the series, 18-9. A lot of ground to make up there. And then everybody saw Greg Paulus. You know, he's a Syracusean, or was. So, Joe, grading the Orange. I'm going to give it to you first. We're going to grade the Orange and do the player of the game for this one. Tyus Battle and Howard had great games, combined for 47 points. I mentioned that, 14 for 30 overall. And just in the last two games, the last 2 losses that we had, they were 16 for 68 with a combined 26%. So huge turnaround going into the KFC Yum Center, Joe.
Yeah, we went from playing our worst offensive game to our best offensive game. So it was just that's exactly what we needed. And I'm going to give them an A, not an A+, but overall, again, best offensive game that we've had. And I think if they would have stayed a little bit out of foul trouble and been able to keep a lead a little bit better, I think that they kind of dominated that game. And the fact that it got close near the end was kind of scary. So that's why I give them the A. But again, going on the road, getting the quadrant 1 win, it's exactly what we needed after that awful performance against Virginia. So with my player of the game, I'd probably have to go Frank Howard, actually, would probably be my player of the game. His stats were pretty similar to Tyus Battle's. They had the same field goal percentage, but Tyus Battle went 0 for 2 from the three-point line. Frank Howard went 3 for 5. And again, like you said, he had 1 turnover, and he had 5 rebounds to Tyus Battle's 4. So it was close. I mean, it was both of them. Nobody on their team could guard him, especially when that Ryan McMahon kid came in. But that's what I would probably grade him. It's an A, and player of the game, Frank Howard.
All right. Well, we mentioned how close the game was. Syracuse shooting 25 out of 53 to Louisville's 46. The game was, when we were up by 10 and we got into foul trouble, and it became kind of an issue when they started driving the lane. I don't know why they abandoned that strategy.
No, me neither.
You and I texted. I thought they were just going to pick us off one by one. And knock us out. The stats on the box score were so comparable, and just they both played a really good game. I give them an A-, only because of, only because I don't want to be too generous, really. But some of the fouls were iffy. I'll say that, but O'Shea Brissett, I would have to say, coming into this game, he was one of the biggest disappointments in the past few games. So I'm going to go ahead and give him my player of the game, scoring 16 points, 7 defensive rebounds. He went 5 for 7 from the free throw line, and every one of those helped. What was it? 22 for 29 from the free throw line. And also, Syracuse outscored Louisville off of turnovers 20-9, 16-0 in the first half. So that was huge. And, holding them to 5 of 21 from behind the arc was huge. The issues in the first half for me, or Dolezaj and Matt Moyer each picking up 3 fouls in the first half. I think Matt Moyer picked up 3 of them in 13 minutes. So it's good. It's a great road win. As of right now, Louisville's RPI is still 42 after the loss. Ours is 43. We are currently a quad 1 away game for a team, and we are a quad 2 home game for a team. In Louisville, obviously, they're in the same situation. So I guess let me ask you something, Joe. If you look at the RPI, look where we stand. They have one more game than us on in conference play. 6-5 or 5-6, right?
Yep.
Is Louisville a tournament team? Is there any doubt?
I think right now they are. Before last night they were. The records are starting to look more and more similar, but I really haven't scoured their schedule too much. I know they lost to Boston College earlier in the year as far as in conference. But other than that, I don't really think they have a bad loss. So it looks like they're probably in a better position than we are right now. But if they keep playing the way they did last night, I don't know, because they look like they played with a little bit of lack of effort last night. So definitely a good team, but right now they're in a better position than us. But I'd say that we're very comparable, two comparable teams.
Yeah, I would have to agree, and the reason I ask is to just try to ease everybody's minds a little bit, because we're so close on the quadrant scale and in conference play. I know they have a couple bigger wins than us, but they have some. They beat a couple ranked teams, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah.
So they do have that going for them over us, but we've got a lot of opportunities going forward to take some of this momentum and do the same thing, and we're just gonna have to see. I understand everybody pounding on the team and the coaches. I get it, I really do, because I get pissed too. But when you have a game like they had against UVA, which UVA is an awesome team, and then you have a game like you do against Louisville, it's like everybody's forgotten about it. It's like amnesia. You know what I mean? It's like you didn't hear a peep out of the haters. And we'll get into some of that on the fan feedback, but you didn't hear a peep about it. So that's my final thought on post Louisville. Joe, what's yours?
Really, like you said, as far as tournament goes, if we're comparing the two teams, just looking at the real-time RPI app, they're 42 RPI with 20. The strength schedule is at 20, and we're 43 RPI. Strength schedule is at 24, and they have one game on us in the ACC conference. Like you said, I don't think they have as bad of losses, and I know that some of their losses I looked at, they lost to Memphis, Seton Hall, Purdue, and I think Kentucky in non-conference. So they did struggle early in non-conference, but those are good teams. Yeah, so absolutely. Again, we're very comparable, and this win just it should erase any doubts. We're 16-8, and we have a very winnable game coming up. We'll get to 17-8 with 6 games left. Again, we're playing against good teams, mostly tournament teams, except for the game at Boston College, and that's not going to be easy either. But it's still looking okay. So come off the ledge after that Virginia game. So. Yeah,
I know. I understand. Like I said, I understand it. But come on, let's think realistic a little bit. All right, Louisville in the mirror. We have a good span to enjoy. We got what 5 days to enjoy that win. So might as well soak it up. Cuse, that's it. Louisville, that's all we have to say about that. All right, some fan feedback. I'm going to mix these up a little bit, Joe. I'm going to do a little bit after UVA, and then we'll do after Louisville.
Okay.
Brian with a Y posts, playground basketball. Jim Boeheim has no offensive game plan. Well, we know his game plan. It's to create They got to go out there and they got to create their own space, and they have just a hard time shooting. Joe, we talked earlier today about how they didn't in this past game against Louisville, they didn't have Chuku set the high ball screen. Instead, they were having the forwards alternate kind of doing it, and it seemed to work better, and that's what created the lanes. So that's kind of an offensive game plan, right?
Yeah, well, he changed it once our guards were Frank Howard and Battle. They were just blowing by their guys. So when we started setting the high roll pick, the other guys started double teaming him and left the other guy open. And Chuku, he wasn't looking to do anything, and he can't really dribble. So what they did when they knew they were going to double team was they had Moyer or Adolje come up, and those guys were picking and then rolling. And you saw a couple times, I mean, Moyer wasn't so successful, but Adolje a couple times he got it. He hit a mid-range jumper when he was wide open. A couple times he drove and made some passes for some layups. So they were creating off of that and taking advantage of that. But I mean, our game plan is mostly just giving the ball to Battle and Howard and Brissett and letting them create. So, yeah, but they did make adjustments to help their offense. But I wouldn't say they run set plays or have a game plan. That was just an in-game kind of adjustment.
Frank says no offense, no bench, and fans sitting on their hands with 6 minutes left. This is during the Virginia game. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good point, Frank. What are we playing? State the obvious? 1 point, Frank.
Yeah, well, 1 point per minute is going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff, after the UVA game, posts, they might not win again this season. Well, Jeff. That's really negative. Okay, and I don't like that attitude at all, Jeff.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff. If anybody is going up on a ledge and making a comment like that, or even realistically thinking about that after losing to the number 2 team, then you have an expectation and realistic expectation problem. So,
yeah, well, okay.
Come on down from the ledge, Jeff.
Yeah,
calm down.
Relax,
guess what?
Jeff.
They won another game.
That must have been right after the game, man. You need to take a couple deep breaths before you start posting. Dave, worst team I have seen in some time. Not even NIT worthy. Again. Come on. So
that's an emotional post.
That's an emotional post. There's a plenty of them. Okay, that was UVA. Here's after Louisville. Great win, boys. Shut up all the hating Cuse fans who doubted you. Well, apparently not Ben.
That was Jeff.
That was Ben. That was Ben after. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was Ben after the Louisville win. Yeah, Ben, good point. I could find hardly any haters after that game. There is no Jake posts. There is no rhyme or reason to this team. Jake,
nope.
I'm as miffed as you, buddy. I get it. Good point.
It's like just hop on a roller coaster you've never been on blindfolded, and that's what this is.
Exactly. Steven, build on this win and get to the dance. It's one step closer, Joe. What do you say we got to do going forward? Looking at the schedule, what will solidify it? Not the easiest road, saying, beat Duke, beat UNC, but what is kind of the average road, the realistic road they could take from here?
Just win. They're not playing against teams that they can't beat. There's obviously going to be some more talented teams than that, but we don't know how a Miami team or a Clemson team or some of these teams are going to react to the zone that we have, and this zone is something that is better than the zone that we've had the past 3 years. So most of the players that we're going to be playing against hasn't played against this zone. So really, you don't really know. Honestly, you don't. But the only thing you can do is win. And I mean, it starts on Sunday, and that's really that's going to be that's like the game as far as if there's a game on the schedule that's a must win. This next one is it.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's not obviously going to be enough to get us in the tournament. But let's get this one on Sunday, get to 17-8, and get back to 500 again in the ACC, and then maybe we'll talk.
Exactly.
So.
Anthony says, great energy. The team earned this victory. Good resume builder for March Madness. Anthony, great point.
Yep.
I would agree. Let's see. Gary says, I was nervous that before the half was going to cost us. We talked a little bit about that. Great win in the end, Gary. Good point. Absolutely. Cecil.
Right there with you, Gary.
This one wins the day. This one wins the day from Cecil. Dilly.
Dilly.
I mean, what else can you say? What else can you
that's
say?
it.
Let's see. Gene, offense looked much better tonight. Jeez, Gene. Gene has the profile picture of a Michigan football player. So,
Okay.
thank you, Gene, I guess.
Yeah.
Mike, great three-point shooting tonight. Hard-fought road win, boosting the chance for the big dance. Yeah, we mentioned they shot 46% from behind the arc. It's awesome. The offense was clicking. They were creating opportunities for themselves, and it's great. All right. All right, Joe, Sunday at 1 o'clock, Wake Forest comes in, currently have an RPI of 118. This would be a quad 3 home game, as we were just saying. It's a must-win, not because it boosts the resume, but because it will hurt the resume, Joe.
Yes.
So, what do we have to look forward to, buddy?
Yes, it will definitely hurt the resume more than any other game on the schedule. Well, we have to look forward to just basically revenge. There's no reason why they wouldn't have it on their minds. After playing the offense that they did against Virginia and leaving home, that big crowd, they must have been down. I'm sure that Jim Boeheim had some words for them. And, at the end of the day, they know that they're getting close to the end of the season. And what Boeheim said in his post-conference, the last 8 games, this is going to define the rest of the season. We're there. We have the opportunity. And they went and they seized the game, and they seized the resume builder on Monday after, not really being able to take advantage of the Virginia game and coming out and playing bad against number 2. But if we turn around and we lose this game on Sunday, it's just going to
everybody's going to be on the ledge again.
Yeah, it's gonna erase what we just did.
Exactly. Yeah,
so we have to stay the course. We have to win this game. I felt we kind of let one slip away the first time against Wake Forest. Bryant Crawford went off for 19 points, and they shot 47% from the three-point line. They out-rebounded us 38-29, 12-6 on the offensive board. So we can't let that happen again. I remember we played with not a lot of energy and not a lot of heart that day. It felt like our guys walked in thinking that they were going to take it from them. Wake Forest is 9-14 overall. They only have, I think they're 2-9 in the ACC. They just beat they beat Florida State at home January 31st. But that game and them beating us is the only 2 wins that they have. And again, like you said, their RPIs in the 118s. It's a home game. Hopefully after this win, we'll have a comparable crowd to Virginia and get to 17-8. They still got, like, again, I said Bryant Crawford, Wilbekin, who hit some deep threes the first time. We just got to take that stuff away, and we got to keep them off the boards because they had way too many boards. They beat us in the big stats, and we shot really, really bad. I remember Tyus Battle had a really bad day. So just win. That's all we need to do. In the words of Al Davis, just win, baby.
Yeah, just win, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
That's all we need to do right now is, we can speculate. We win on Sunday and then go 3-3 in our last 6 games, and we'll be in the tournament.
Yeah.
But we need to win on Sunday. Now, if we lose on Sunday, then our road to the tournament changes dramatically.
Yes, and like we said, it's the win doesn't do anything but keep us out of, keep us our head above water, basically. So, I was looking to do something on CuseNation.com, our Cuse Nation CuseNationShow.com. Sorry, for trying to get the latest RPI just for Syracuse and kind of where we are in our quadrant wins and losses. As I started doing it, it's kind of difficult, but I think I can find a way to make it a little easier. So once I get that out, I'll post that to Facebook. While we got the time, Joe, let's talk about the Super Bowl just for a couple minutes. The Patriots have not beaten an NFC East team in the Super Bowl. They're 0-3.
Because of my G-Men.
Yeah, the G-Men beat them twice, and now the Eagles. Congratulations if you're an Eagles fan.
Yes,
just
finally
great.
got one.
Yeah, I really didn't care until I cared. I didn't really care about the game until it was until they strip sack Brady, and I'm like, oh, yes. I am ready to see the Eagles win their first. A great group of guys.
Sometimes I have a team that I want to see win, stuff like that. But most of the time, if the Giants aren't in it, because I don't have beef with New England. As a Giants fan, why would you? I mean, we're 2-0 in the Super Bowl against them. And up until this game, we're the only team that beat them in the Super Bowl. So I have no ill will towards New England whatsoever, and I do respect their program. And if you got a chance to watch that 30 for 30, the two Bills with Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells,
was it good?
Pretty interesting. And Bill Belichick has ties with Bill Parcells all the way back to the Giant teams in the 80s and early 90s that won 2 Super Bowls. So he's got a little bit of Giants blue bloodline.
One of those was the Bills win in there. Two. Yeah, no, just one. Early 90s, yeah.
So, the early 90s, and we beat John Elway in Denver in, I think it was 86, 87 season. But, so it was very interesting. But I didn't really care. When my team's not in it, I kind of I want a good game. And the one thing that New England proves is if they're in the Super Bowl, it's going to be a good game because when you look at them, how many games with New England has it come down to the last-second field goal? Last year it went into overtime with a huge comeback. This year they came back and made it a good game. So, I just want to see a good game, man, and it was.
I was trying to think of the game against the Eagles. The first time in the Super Bowl was against New England with Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, and Terrell Owens. Yep.
Yeah, that was close too.
That was a close game, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. So they're 1-1. Oh, so I'm wrong then. My bad. So they are 1-3. They're not 0-3. They're 1-3 in the NFC East.
Yep, that's true.
My bad. I don't know why I said that. I forgot about that game. All right. Well, it was a good game.
And the Giants had the best commercial. So.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I liked
Odell and Eli.
My wife was cringing a little bit. She's like, "Why are they doing that?" I'm like, "They're making fun of the end zone dances."
Yeah.
And she doesn't understand any of that. I was like, whatever.
No, it's funny. Nobody puts Odell in the corner.
Yeah. There was a couple good commercials. I thought the AI commercial was funny because that's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They just predicted the future with that one.
Yeah, the Doritos and Mountain Dew commercials with
the dude from Game of Thrones and Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman singing Missy Elliott and Peter Dinklage singing Busta Rhymes. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But it was overall pretty good. But another thing I wanted to throw out there that I just saw today, because I don't know if you saw it, but National Signing Day is tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I saw a write-up on it.
I don't think, there's a little write-up on Syracuse.com that'll give you all the information you need to know. It looks like we're about to stack up on some running backs, which is good, athletes. So, but also, I saw today that 0 of Syracuse's players got an invite to the Combine.
Wow,
and that just
really?
boggled my mind.
Why the receivers?
How is Steve Ishmael not getting?
It makes no sense
he led
at all.
the nation in catches and yards. It was like a 2-team All-American. I mean, I can understand Zaire Franklin because of his height and his speed, coverage ability, and Paris Bennett. He's got a little bit of height and coverage ability, but he doesn't have the strength and the weight. And Irv Phillips. He's a little small, so I can see those guys because Irv Phillips isn't a natural receiver. He'll end up getting picked up undrafted to New England or something and be something. But
right.
but Steve Ishmael, looks like a pretty legit receiver to me. All throughout the season, he was playing against some of the better corners, and he was beating them, and he got nothing but respect from other coaches. And that boggles my mind.
That's crazy. I did not see that. All right. Well, hey. Next episode, maybe we'll throw that at the end after Sunday's game. We'll include some of that stuff for signing day for football. So, all right. Hey, thanks for tuning in to episode 56. That's all we got for you today. Remember, go to facebook.com/Cuse Nation Podcast.
Wake Forest tonight at Miami.
Wake Forest tonight at Miami, so that RPI could change. Oh, it's tomorrow? Okay.
Yep.
That RPI could change. It's 118 right now. Just keep your eye on that. But that's it. That's all we got. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.
You just heard the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe.